Okay, onward and upward with the draft. The season 11 draft. It's 2023, summer of 2023 in the game world. And we've got a decent pick. Now, I don't know if it's a strong draft class. The Rangers have the first overall pick. We could explore trying to trade up. I wouldn't mind trying to trade up in this draft if we can find a feasible trade to do it. But, we're at season 11. This GM mode is probably not going to go much more than 15 seasons. We are still in win now mode. Excuse me, win mode. We are in win now mode in the way that I see it, in my mind. Who won the Stanley? Colorado did. Then they win the Cup. So the Blues have the Avalanche's 30th overall pick in the first round here. Okay, it's draft day. I have an interesting trade that I'm proposing this to the Los Angeles Kings. It is PK Subban, trade value at the bottom. I mean, this is my thought process. You can trade Subban while it's still high. The trade value is still high. I predict that he's going to have a downward trend over the next year or two. I mean, Subban, let's pull everything up. He's been a lifelong Hab. He's 34 years of age. I think he's just going to continue to trend downwards. And he's got 3 years left on this deal. There's all of the attributes in front of you, the stats from the previous 4 seasons and what he's done. I mean, he's still getting it done. It's not that Subban is an issue, but I need to offload some salary, number one. And I'm just showing all the stats so you can look at all the stats of PK Subban while I talk here. I would like to unload some salary, so this would dump off $6.6 million of space. From an LA Kings perspective, you're getting better with Subban. They want PK. You're getting better with Subban. You're going to need to give up a young defenseman. So I don't know if LA would realistically do this trade. I think they fell out of the playoff picture. Did they not? Were they not in the... I don't think they were involved in the playoffs last year, but they were the year before that. We would add another 6'9", 230-pound defenseman to our blue line here with Larry Ronning, the American defenseman, 21 years old, 4 gold star potential. He was a first-round 9th overall pick in the 2021 draft. He's making $1 million even. It saves us money against the cap. There's his season stats. Nothing to be too crazy impressed about so far. I mean, he's a young defenseman that we're going to try to just peg in there on like the third pair for this upcoming this upcoming season. And I'm basically trying to get younger with this. This helps LA right away. I'm trying to get Ronning, the young defenseman, back to offset the loss of Subban, and we need a backup goaltender. So Martin Jones is there with some fair value as a reasonable option to tend the crease behind Zach Fucale. The way that I see it, he would be a reasonable option in net as a backup goalie. It's a 1-year deal. It saves me some money, and I don't have to go fishing for a goaltender in free agency if this deal goes through. There was another potential trade I had on my mind with the Vancouver Canucks if this doesn't work out, but obviously this would free up a lot of cap space for me to work with in the offseason. So does LA accept it? PK Subban for the 17th overall pick here in the season 11 draft. Larry Ronning, a top 6 defenseman with room to grow at 21 years old, and backup goaltender Martin Jones. The Kings are pretty happy, but we need to sweeten the value a little bit. Okay, so I'm not barking up the wrong tree. I'm really close. Okay, LA, I've modified the trade. I've added a second round pick, our 52nd overall, basically to get 2 first-round picks in this draft. If this doesn't work out, I can always bounce back to LA with the first overall pick that we possess to basically move up in the draft here. Does LA like me throwing in the second? If it doesn't work, I could probably throw a second and a third. But I'm already giving you PK Subban. Yes, he's not in his prime, but I'm giving you a pretty elite PK Subban top 2 defenseman in order to improve your defense core. So LA, please accept, and they do. PK Subban has been traded to the LA Kings. Well, there it goes. It goes down before the first overall pick is even taken. I have 2 picks in the first round here in this draft. It's going to be such a weird season, but we're kind of trying to retool the team on the fly here, and we do have a pick here. I don't think it's going to be much of anything. Oh, you know what? There might be a decent pick here. There might be this Maltby guy from Norway. There might be a decent pick. It's based on what my scouts have done, what they've uncovered about this player. We've scouted him more than 3 times, so we have a good read. That's a forward as well. I like the idea of drafting a forward. There's a Vorobayev out of Lithuania. Kaigorodov out of Russia. How old is Maltby? Ooh, 20. See, there's potentially less room to grow there from that player, but we're in the later first round here. Peter Hayduk. Let's take a look at what his attributes look like. I mean, I'm gonna believe this potential. See how it says 4 green star potential. I'm gonna trust that scouting profile. That kid could be really, really good. So I'm gonna go based on that, and I hope I don't mess up. I mean, it's a later, mid to late first round pick. I mean, I'm gonna come back. Here's what I'm gonna do. I've got 2 picks here. I'm gonna take Maltby, and then I'm gonna come back, and if he's still available, I'm taking Peter Hayduk. So we'll take 2. What is Hayduk? He's a left wing as well. We'll take 2 left wingers. So Maltby is the pick. There was probably a goaltender there as well, but we've got our goalie situation figured out. So Vorobayev goes off the board right before we pick at 22nd overall here. So let me look at goalies just to do my own due diligence. Hayduk is still there, and he is the highest player from a potential standpoint, I guess, left on the board. But let's look at the goaltenders, all the goaltenders. I guess it'll also give me all the goaltenders that I scouted. Kumagai, we gave up our 2nd round pick. If he's available there in the 3rd round, I'm taking Kumagai. If not, I don't know. I don't really care, but I do want to take Hayduk. I got to find Hayduk, sort it by potential. Now, Kaigorodov, we got to pay attention where he goes. I want to see who's the better player here, but they're both 19-year-olds. I'm taking the 19-year-old out of the Czech Republic. So Hayduk, somewhere on the board should be... Oh, is he going to go off the board? He did not get taken in the 1st round. Okay. Really would have liked to have my second round pick. I'm not going to have my 2nd round pick. I traded that away to the LA Kings. So we'll see where he goes. There's the trade. LA, of course, obtains my 2nd round pick for this year's draft. We get Larry Ronning Jones and the 2023 17th overall pick in the draft in the 1st round. So I'm shutting down these phones. No more trades to be made from my side. Andropov, Kessler, I do want to see where the player I was paying attention to, where he goes. We can actually quick sim that round, so let's see. Kaigorodov to San Jose, that's the player. So he's off the board in round 2 to the San Jose Sharks. I wonder if that goalie will still be available in the 3rd round when I pick at 22nd in the 3rd round, the 22nd pick of the 3rd round. I didn't mean to do that. I don't remember. Kumagai, he goes off the board slightly before we pick. He goes to the Washington Capitals. So I don't think it's really going to matter who you take now in the 3rd round. Well, we did scout some of these players. And most of them are projected to go undrafted. But there's also a lot of players, I guess, that we didn't scout. Here's some projections. I don't know if we scouted this Beckis guy. No scouting visits. But I'm just going to take that kid. Or Rekis, not Beckis. Okay, so in reverse order from round 7 backwards, we take Pessinen, computer selected player in the 7th round. Doesn't mean much of anything to me. Winchester to our team in round 6. Round 5, Berehowski. Fortin in the 4th round. Rekis, that was my pick there in round 3. Round 2, we didn't have a selection. We gave that to the LA Kings in the PK Subban trade. And of course, in round 1, we take 2 selections, Hayduk and Maltby off the board. I need to take a photo of the top 7 or so picks in this draft and see how all those teams did in the 1st round. Okay, yeah, we have a lot to do. Wow, man, a world in which PK Subban is not a Montreal Canadien. In the 2023 season, which was also true in real life. When did PK retire? I mean, I know that he went off, he played for Nashville, he was traded to Nashville in the Weber trade, which was a crazy trade. I remember what I was doing when that trade dropped. It came out of nowhere. And then Subban, I believe, signed in New Jersey where he finished his career. So, I mean, by 2023, I think Subban was retired anyway in the real world. But he's an LA King now. I don't know how it's going to go over with the virtual Habs fans in this game world trading away Subban as it did in real life. So, yes, technically the team kind of gets worse on... Let's look at our defense core first. So the team kind of gets worse. Sort this by overall, by best. We still are fine on the top pair. It's just going to be Hedman and Severson. We opt to go for the younger defenseman, see if he can maybe bloom into something. I see it this way. We don't necessarily need to go get a big defenseman in free agency. You got your top D pair, Hedman, Severson, Bigris, Tamernis, your second D pair, Ronning and Weiss. You got Weston or Dumoulin. I'd say we cut Weston free. He's 33. We can hang on to Dumoulin and play him in the A for depth. You got Ryan Murphy for depth. I think we're going to be... And Russell Glencross, who I picked... When did I pick this guy? The 2016 second round. He was my pick. He's been in the organization. It was third round, second... I just said it and I forgot already. Second round pick. But he's actually, for a 3 Gold Star player, maybe he has a little bit more growth. He could bump up to a high 70s player, and he could be a depth option. But, we could just maybe go get a little bit of depth at D at free agency. I'm planning on re-signing Weiss. We obviously need to bring Bigris back with the loss of Subban. We have got to re-sign Bigris. Moving on from PK, it does give me some cap space. He was on a similar timeline to Max Pacioretty. Their contracts were both going to expire at essentially the same exact time. But unfortunately, the way that I see it is his time as a Hab has already expired. So I traded him off to LA. I made the Kings better. The earliest we would see the Kings, of course, we would only see the Kings in a potential Stanley Cup final. So I helped them out in the West, and the other teams in the West are looking at us with an evil eye for making the LA Kings better on their blue line. Pacioretty remains here. He's still got the 4.5-star potential, and that's my thinking in keeping Pacioretty here. Capable of doing good things with this team. He's got chemistry with Duchesne. He's only 34. Yes, he will turn 35 soon, but he's still an 88 overall player and the consensus best player on the team. Keep in mind, Carey Price did not retire. Actually, he's still technically with my organization at 35 years old, but he's already dropped to an 87, and he was a 3.5 White Star potential. He's getting worse. He is getting way worse. It's going to be Fucale with Jones next season, so we just negotiate with Martin Jones this offseason, and there's your backup goaltender for Zach Fucale going into this next season. So I got work to do. Let me get to work. Offer to Chris Bigris, 5.385 by 4 years. Am I not a genius for dealing PK Subban and getting that contract off the books so we can sign Chris Bigris here in the offseason and stay younger and better? Well, Max Weiss, I was giving him even $1 million a season ago, and he wants some money. But we'll do the 3 years. We'll give him what he wants, and I'll be able to shave just a touch off this dollar value. Yeah, I can't go down that far. I can probably go sub 3 million. I'll go down to 2.8 something. All right, Maximilian Weiss, 3 years, 2.810. Let's see what we think about it. Okay, I'm doing some deals. I'm bringing back players on reasonable value contracts. Polkinen and Stromwall are both offered slightly more than $1 million deals. Then we got Brian Dumoulin to work with. What does Dumoulin want? Man, I am saving some money. Dumoulin is, he's basically a depth defenseman, but I can send that $1 million his way because I'm saving so much money with Ronning's $1 million contract up here. That $1 million for this season is going to help out a lot. And I can bring back Dumoulin. He'll play in the A, but he's a call-up option in case of injury. We got to revisit with Teravainen. Same thing with Teravainen, $1.1 million for 2 years. I'm fine with doing these deals with these players. I just want to get this squad back, and we're basically making depth signings. Weston is going to free agency. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and release him to free agents, and that'll reset the list, won't it? It does. It did. Well, it kind of did reset the list. I just got to scroll back down. Vovoda's a big one. Does he want a big contract? He does not. That's huge. That's going to save me so much money. So Vovoda, what if I go long-term with him? Oh, wow. I can go 8 years with Vovoda at 1.75, and then I can shave some off that dollar value, and I got a great player at a cheap value contract. Yeah, I can go down to 1.4. I might give him a little bit more than that. So Lucas Vovoda, 8 years, 1.450, as opposed to your original offer. Hopefully he likes a long-term deal there. Now what am I... Where's Vovoda? He was just there, and now he's not here anymore. Lievo, man, all these guys. Nope, I'm going to go get depth in free agency. 78 overall player. There's Vovoda. He's down here. Wearick... If he wants a minor league deal, it's a pretty easy slam dunk move for me. But 1 year, please just do the 1 year. Hacken, I will tender that qualifying offer. Russell Glenncross, we need you on a new contract. We'll give him the 1 year. We can just revisit him on yearly contracts. That is acceptable with me. Oh, well, I already offered to Negrin, but it's fine because I need an AHL team anyway. Quayler is how old now? Man, we kept Steve Quayler around. We've kept this guy... No, Steve Quayler, get out of town with that. You're going to free agency. Okay, so Maltby, there's my 17th overall pick. There's Mike Maltby. He was the player that I drafted with the trade... In the trade for with PK Subban, we acquired this pick from LA. So we turned that pick into Maltby, a 20-year-old... playmaking left wing, 62 overall, 3.5 red star potential, so probably not going to be anything incredible, but it's kind of a mid to late first round pick. Like I said, it's the 17th overall pick in the first round. And a Hayduk, right beneath that, Hayduk taken with the 22nd pick, which was also our original pick that we owned, and he's a 19-year-old, 3 red star potential, 61 overall, power forward out of the Czech Republic. Okay, Martin Jones, I mean, it's pretty reasonable. I think we do 1 year at $3 million, $1.3 million. Martin Jones, 1 year, $1.3 million to be the backup goaltender. We got him in the trade with LA. I think if you traded for the player, you would like to at least negotiate with that player and get them in your organization, get them signed. This is going to be the painful thing to do. Carey Price, it's been a pleasure. I was hoping you would retire at 35 years old and just continuously getting worse. Here's a look at the final line for Price in his last season as a half. 34 games played, 3.03. I mean, it's just time. It's just time to cut him free. The playoff stats even worse, but I mean, it was just the 2 games played. So kind of ignore those numbers, but you can see the numbers were just getting worse each playoff run for Carey Price. This is painful. The longtime hab on the thumbnail for the entire series and will remain until the end of the series. This is painful to do. I got to cut you free. To the free agent list you go. He will find a new home in the offseason, Carey Price. All right, time to find out if we got anyone re-signed. Usually, because it's the contracts negotiation phase, it doesn't take long to hear back. From some of these guys like Glenncross, that was an easy decision. Negrin, an easy decision. I didn't even mean to offer him. We got Jones on the team, so there's our backup goaltender. Wearick, depth in the A. The AHL, that is. If I say the A, that's what I'm referring to for future reference. Dumoulin, rejection from Vovoda. He did not like what I offered him. I'm going to come back to him with that 8-year deal, so I just got to refine that a little bit. And a rejection from Bigris. He didn't like it either. And a rejection from... these guys, man, these guys are being pissants. It was an easy decision. 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 So the only issues were with the most notable players I have to re-sign. So we just go back and redo this whole process again. Come back to the table with some new offers to Bigris. So I don't even remember what I offered Bigris. But if we go up in years, we could get... Wow, Bigris, look at the pay raise he gets if you go up to 8 years. He's asking for 7.6. That's in the upper right-hand corner, if you're not seeing it. What is his original ask? He wants 2 years, and that's actually fine, because you can go by 2 years and just kind of assess Bigris's play over those 2 years, and if you just want to dump him after that, you can do that. So I don't know that I can go much below $6 million without pissing Begris off. So I'm going to go I got the cap space, by the way. I'm going to go 5.925 2 years. Does that appease you, Chris Begris? I know you can shave some off the dollar value and they will still sign the contract in this game. Weiss is another one. I think I offered him I'm basically going to have to offer him exactly what he wants. I'm going to shave a little bit off the dollar value, 3.250 for 3 years. I just got to get these guys on my team. So I'm not going to nitpick with some of these free agents. Lievo has yet to respond, but Vovoda rejected. I went 8 years, and I think he's going to want a lot closer. I mean, 8 years for this player, if he grows at 1 point, I'm going to have to bump the value up to like 1.6 million. I may have to go 1.6 million for 8 years in Vovoda, the fourth line grinder. Let's see if he likes that. I mean, getting that dollar value for 8 years, if he grows, is a steal of a contract. But it's based on the fact that you're hoping he's gonna grow. That's what I'm basing that 8-year contract on. And I mean, that's pretty easily a tradable player anyway. That's my created player, Vovoda. So he actually renews. So we got Vovoda for 8 years at that dollar value. A renewal from Begris and a renewal. They're not playing hardball anymore because we pretty much gave them what they want. And look at that. I have 11.6 million in cap space still available. I'm kind of a genius for cutting free a couple of tough players. It was tough to cut the two core players of this team in Carey Price and PK Subban free, but it had to be done. Moving Subban and getting a younger, cheaper defenseman gives us flexibility for Season 11. Now, I can't run into any problems because Larry Ronning, that defenseman that we traded for, he's making $1 million even for this season. So I got some more guys coming back to me with renewals. He's making $1 million against the cap for this upcoming season. But after that, you're going to have to negotiate a new contract, and that's where you might be hit a little bit in the pocketbook when you have to come back to the table with a new contract in next offseason for Season 12. But the free agents are now the main concern for me. Who's available on the free agent pool? It's mostly defensemen. Holy crap. And there's no. I'm happy with what I've got, actually. I don't think I need... I would like to go get like a reasonable value defenseman, like an 81 that we could healthy scratch. I would prefer it to be a bit of an older defenseman. See, like Blum is 34. I'd like a 33-year-old defenseman that we can make our 7th D, and you just keep him in the press box because you're going to have injuries. Jamie McBain is a good one. He's 35, and you could just sign. He wants 3 years. That's going to be a problem. See, the years wanted here, this is a problem. 3 years. Anybody want 1 year? Nobody wants a 1-year deal to be a defenseman. You know, I have cap space, but, you know, do I really want to overpay a free agent defenseman to just be my 7th D? Do I want to bump up the value and drop the years wanted for just one season of overpayment? Kajanik? I don't know the pronunciation of the last name there. I'm just looking for like an 8. We could look at an 80 overall defenseman. Holmberg, again, 3 years wanted. These guys are crazy. How about this Shastlevy? Let's go after this guy. I'm going to modify it. 1 year deal. I'll give you pretty much what you want to. Oh shoot, I'm going way too far. Well, you know what? I'm going to have to bump the value up, the salary offered up if we want to get this guy signed. But I'm going after this defenseman as a depth option. I didn't even pay attention to the attributes of the player. Is he a decent skater? He's a great skater. If I'm going to sign a depth defenseman, I at least want a great skater. And he'll be my 7th defenseman for depth. Now, can I get I should probably back out of this screen and look at what my lineup potentially looks like going into this season. Because, well, Dalton Thrower is on the... Boston let Dalton Thrower go to free agency. We could bring him back into the organization. Remember, he was drafted by the Habs. He was already here when we loaded up the GM mode. So that's all the skaters. What about goalies? Carey Price he's got 3 teams interested, still listed as an elite goaltender. And he is at 87 overall, but he's trending in the wrong direction. He's now 30, like I said, he's 35 years old. How do I see what teams are interested? Oh, you have to go to offer the player. So Florida, the Rangers, and the Sharks are all interested, and his asking price is north of 8.7. That's ridiculous for a goalie that's going to get worse. It was just time to cut Price free. So goaltender-wise, I'm fine because I had Ben Bishop, by the way, and he was a healthy scratch because Zach Fucale was ready, and I wasn't prepared for that. So we signed Ben Bishop last season, and I don't even think he got into a game for my team because Zach Fucale was ready to play at the NHL level. Are there any RFAs? That's goalies, but no. What about all skaters? Is there any RFAs that could be tempting? There's no RFAs that are even close to tempting to offer sheet. You know, I have cap space and I can keep guys, you know, in the press box. I'm looking for guys I could sign and put in the press box. But Armia wants 3 years. I don't want anyone for more than 2. I wouldn't mind signing a 2-year deal with one of these players. Bertrand, right wing, fourth line player. He's got a good defense category and a good shoot. Let's do this Bertrand. Okay, so I'm approaching Charles Bertrand. I'll do a 1-year deal to Bertrand. I'm going to go up. I have the cap space for this, so I'm just going to go up to like north of $2 million to get him signed and see if he accepts my offer. I want him as a healthy extra forward in case we get injuries. So Bertrand, there's a look at the attributes. The French sniper. Just see if he signs here or not. He would basically, again, he'd be the equivalent of a 7th defenseman, like how we have a 7th D that I offered in free agency to basically be a healthy extra, sit in the press box in case of injury. Oh, and the Hurricanes want to send me Brassard for a 1st and a 2nd. This popped up out of nowhere. So what is the deal with Derek Brassard? He's 35, and I mean, still, you know, capable. How much time left on that deal? 1 year left. But I just offered a player in free agency. I would actually, this is not worth a first. Not worth a first-round pick unless you anticipate this being a late first-round pick. I'm going to decline this trade. I'm going to tell Carolina to get out of town with that offer. Oh, the Blackhawks are in on Carey Price. I mean, there's going to be like probably, I got to go to free agency. How many teams are in on Price now? There are 5 teams interested. It is now Calgary, Chicago, Florida Rangers, and San Jose all bidding for the services of the great Carey Price. I mean, the accolades in the GM mode kind of speak for themselves. Hopefully he goes out west because I don't want Price being a problem in a potential playoff series. So there's an accepted offer from Shastlevy. They took a phone away from me for some reason, and Bertrand accepts the offer, so we got our depth. I think the ownership took a phone away from me because I traded PK Subban in the offseason. Price is signed. Has Price signed? Price is signed somewhere, I think. He's not on the free agent board anymore. Is there a way to see the transaction news? Where did Carey Price end up? So there's all of our signings. These are re-signed players before free agency, and then these two are our free agent acquisitions. Okay, free agent acquisitions. This is an easy way to sort it. I was looking at Joel Armia, and Carolina signs Armia. Tatar going there. Where did... I want to go kind of slowly because I want to be surprised by it. Where did Carey Price end up? It seems like he has made a decision on where he wants to play next season. There it is. Oh, of course he does. He stays in the East and he signs a 3-year deal with the New York Rangers. Well, there is a way to look at it. We can look at it in the contract screen in a moment. So Price remains in the league. Dalton Thrower goes to the Buffalo Sabres, by the way, in free agency. I love that I can see all this stuff in this game. Okay, wow, they gave him a 9.230 for 3 years. Overpayment for Price, who is well past his prime. Almost certainly about to be washed. Sateri is their backup goaltender for the upcoming season. So that's what they got going on in net with the New York Rangers. It's going to be so weird to go up against Carey Price, the former Hab. Could you imagine if we meet this Rangers team in the playoffs, if they even make it? How is their roster sorted out? Who are the players on this team Sorted by overall rating. There we go. Ryan McDonough, Delzano. Okay, this team is still... This is actually a well-built team. A lot of mid-80s overall players in this core. This D-core is insane, actually, for the Rangers. That D-core playing in front of, yes, an aging Price might actually get it done. Kreider, Goodbranson, Clark, Connolly. Their depth is amazing. This is a really deep Rangers team. You know, they might actually be able to make the playoffs with this. We'll see what happens. Carey Price does seem to sim well in regular seasons as well. That might help out the Rangers a lot. And a look at the LA Kings. I didn't even think about this. I gave the Kings Subban, who have Doughty, who's a 90 overall player. I would imagine that's going to be your first D pair. Doughty with Subban is going to raise all hell across the NHL in this upcoming season, isn't it? Oh my God. I gave the LA Kings, I made this, I didn't even realize how good this team is. Look at this team. 90 overall, 89, 88, 88, 87, 85, 85, 84, 84, 84, 84. What have I done? Oh my God, this LA Kings team is going to destroy. Holy crap, LA is built to win. Unless they just have a sack of potatoes in the net. What's their goaltender? It's Jonathan Quick, that's right. But he's 37, but still he's capable of doing it. He's still doing big things for the Los Angeles Kings at 37 years old. His potential hasn't dropped off, unlike Carey Price. And Christopher Gibson is the backup to Jonathan Quick. There's still $2.6 million within the cap, by the way. So they're still underneath the cap with this entire core that they've assembled in LA. I didn't even realize what I was doing when I traded Subban to Los Angeles, but they were the team that was the perfect suitor in my mind for PK Subban as we get the younger and cheaper defenseman. This is going to be a fun season to sim out. I can't wait to see how the Los Angeles Kings do when we sim the regular season. If they miss the playoffs with that, it'll be a shambles. I do not... I'll take a look at it. I don't want Darren Helm. I'm assuming he's like 35 or something. He's 36. Yeah, I'm not looking for... And 2 years, no. I'm not looking for that. That is a deal I am taking off the table, St. Louis. Ben Bishop signed with Los Angeles as well. Why did Ben Bishop sign in LA? They already have their goaltending situation figured out. Bishop was on our team last year in the press box. Oh, we need to get 53 wins, year 11. And I need to get 53 wins. All right, so that does it for the contracts portion of the offseason, which is usually a pretty straightforward part of the whole process. But I do want to see, when are we going to be facing Carey Price and when are we going to be facing PK Subban? So right away, we will see Carey Price and the New York Rangers twice in the month of October. October 18 and on October 28th, Carey Price returns to the Bell Center in both games in a Rangers jersey. We also need to look for the LA Kings on this list because we will see LA at home on the 11th of December. PK Subban's return to the Bell Center, his glorious return. Any other notable? There are more notable dates. There's the road game against the Rangers on the 22nd of February. We will face Carey Price with his new team in their building. And we also go to LA in that month there. On February the 9th, we face the LA Kings with PK Subban on the road. The deadline is sandwiched between two road games. So we will do the deadline on the road this season. The season concludes as it opened. We began the season on the road against Florida. We conclude the season against Florida, but at home. The defending Cup champions are the Colorado Avalanche. They finally got it done there with Galchenyuk. So the trade, obviously, that we started the GM mode has worked out for both sides. We see the Avalanche on January 14th, 2024 to play them at home. We'll see the most recent Stanley Cup champions then, and we'll see them in December on the 15th. On the road at the Pepsi Center. It would be the Pepsi Center at this point in time. We will pick up with the regular season sim in the next video.